What? What? You never seen a guy just eating Japanese beef jerky before? Seriously, what are you looking at? I'm just snacking. Get out of here. Go on. Go. Get. Nuh-uh. Mm-mm-mm.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you.
Okay, I get it. You don't care because you're here just to watch me discuss Kamen Rider Gavv. Okay, you win. You won me over. You broke my arm. We're discussing Kamen Rider Gavv, episode 31, A Difficult Marriage. And yes, I actually have a profound amount of Japanese snacks because my family's been visiting from Japan, visiting in Japan, and it just came to the U.S. So it's a perfect opportunity to get some snacks, and because hey, it's a Kamen Rider that's based on snacks, so we may as well, eat some. Peach flavored gum is the best. I mean, I also like kiwi flavored gum, but I'm just not a big fan of gum in general. Well, you gotta love that minty flavor because of natural gum and whatnot. Yeah, all right. So the episode starts off with just general research on insects, mainly beetles. Basically, Sachika's team agreed to, just babysit a beetle, and best way to babysit a beetle is to do some research on beetles. So that's not an incorrect way of thinking. Like, you really should do research on pets that you're sitting, but that's neither here or there. What's really important about the scene is the fact that that Lakia and Hanto are still not quite fond of each other. And while they both kissed and made up with Shoma, they haven't kissed and made up with each other. Lakia definitely learned to warm up to Sachika, which is great, but Hanto is still another story that we have to take care of. So obviously this is going to be the focus of this episode. Will it be the focus on the next episode? Who knows? We're not 100% sure on that ourselves. But I'm surprised that one of the main plot points of this episode didn't really last as long as I thought it would. I thought it was going to bleed over to the next episode, and yet here it is not. It just stuck. They just finished it a lot quicker than I expected it to. So much so that I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping they would take it a little further. Don't get me wrong. The comedy in this episode was good. It was good. No doubt about it. It's just, I was kind of hoping to see more of it moving into the following episode because, for the most part, Gavv does feel like one of those shows where starting with the second arc, most of the episodes are going to be two-parters, but yeah, no, it's, there is a little bit of continuation going further in. It's just, I was hoping that all of it would just continue further in, not just this one, not just the monster of the day. But yeah, so the two writers, they're not really fond of each other, just like how Lango is not really fond of what's his name? Jeev has been up to. But it is what it is. So what's really interesting is that in an earlier episode, we did have a moment where Hanto suggests to Shoma that he personally investigate his mom's family, because even if his mom is dead, her family might still be around. So, we may as well learn more about them. And I'm thinking, why does this feel like they're just going to do a repeat of the whole Bua thing from Kamen Rider Zero One? I mean, they kind of did that with Goju Wolf, though, but not to. But it is what it is. So Shoma gave Hanto the last name of the person that of like his mom's surname, but while technically this woman has the correct last name, the person that disappeared is not actually Shoma's mom. It's some random dude because Shoma's mom has one of those gender neutral names, kind of like Alex or Sam or Clover. I'm just kidding. Clover's not gender neutral, but Pat is. Or Jean. Man, it just occurred to me that 2 of the 3 main characters from Totally Spies have gender neutral names. So you could have had like a Totally Spy spin-off where you had characters named Samuel, Alexander, and Clovis. Clovis is a dude's name, right? Like, it's totally a dude's name. Yeah, so, but it just so happens that this woman's brother disappeared around the same time near a haircut place that he normally gets his haircut from, because he wanted to look good for her boyfriend. And I'm like, that's a good brother right there. You're wanting to be presentable towards his sister's boyfriend. But it just so happens that Loki is also investigating someone who also disappeared at the same hairstylist. So what are the odds? That means that both of them have to do an investigation at the same place. Now, at first, Hanzo tries to be really subtle about things. He tries to be like really, really subtle. It's like, oh, like I got a recommendation from one of your clients. Like I heard you're really good and I need a haircut like right away. And it just so happens that the client happens to have the same name as one of his victims. Cause like apparently, basically he tricked the Granite into thinking that he didn't really kill the client. But it's really sus, man. Meanwhile, Longo and Glotta are just like licking their wounds on the whole acquisition by the Jaludic family. And Jeeb is like, listen, plebeian, you are my underling. You will do as I say. And what I say goes, and you have to do your job, which is to gather human presses. And Lango's like, you know what? I may be required to do your job, your own job, but I'll do it better than you did. So Loki is like, what's taking so long? This is taking forever. And it's like, oh, I need a haircut too. But the thing is, the barber recognizes Loki because he has that wanted poster. He's like, oh my god, you're a Granite Hunter. So their cover is blown, which means that they have to end up fighting the Granite, which is some kind of insect that spits out this mucus. And that leads to Hanto and Loki being trapped by this mucus. Yep, it's that episode of Shinkenger all over again. I was hoping this isn't what it would come down to, but yeah, it's that obligatory episode of Shinkenger where, their hands are stuck together and they can't break out. So, yeah, they're just dragging each other along and comedy hijinks ensues. Meanwhile, Shoma gets to try a new candy from his favorite candy shop. And guess what that candy is? It's caramel. So interesting about caramel is that it is possible that the origin is of Arabic origin in that 5th century BC, because they just discovered sugar canes and they decided to heat it up, causing sugar to melt into a sweet, sticky liquid. Now, this obviously expanded into all kinds of places, including Portugal, Spain, France, and England, where through a chain of language acquisition ends up creating the word caramel, which of its original origin means heated sugar. And the way it works is you literally heat up sugar till it melts. That's literally what caramel is. Sometimes you want to add like milk, cream, butter, vanilla to give it a bit of that sweet flavor, maybe make it a little creamier. But the hardest thing about caramel is that constant temperature regulation and stirring is required in order to make it consistent. And if you don't stir it, it'll either crystallize or get burnt, or both. So it was very difficult to make this confection up until the invention of the thermometer, where temperature regulation became a lot easier. But since then, caramel has been used for a lot of things such as flan, creme brulee, chocolat, even gummies. So, in a way, caramel is relevant to all three main characters because it goes with most sweets. But, do we get a gochizo out of it? Yes. Do we use a gochizo? No. Will we get to use it in a future episode? Let's hope so. So, Lisette is going all over this antique store because she likes antiques. But I guess she's so rich, she has no concept of paying for things. So she expects to walk out with all of the antiques. And when the store owner won't let her go, she summons her butler. Apparently, her butler is actually one of her dad's minions. Her dad summons minions that resemble Butler, so alrighty. Is one of them named Sebastian by any chance? Well, off to another pressing engagement. Sachiko tries to break the mucus that's holding the two of them together, and it gets really funny. At first, she tries chiseling. That doesn't work. Then she pulls out a chainsaw. I'm like, where did Sachiko get a chainsaw? But that's not out of the ordinary. A lot of people have chainsaws. Like, people use them for gardening and for wood shop. I imagine being a jack of all trades shops, she's probably going to need a chainsaw for something inevitably. But then when that doesn't work, she uses dynamite. Who uses dynamite? That's insane. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. But yeah, so thankfully they stop her from using the dynamite because, again, Sachika, I love you, girl. You're the GOAT, but where'd you get dynamite? Like, I gotta know. Like, you can't get it at a convenience store, can you? But yeah, no, thankfully they do stop her because that is just insane. So they have to figure out some other way of doing it. And of course, Hanto says he wants to take the lead on this, but of course, Lakia has other plans in mind because one, you blame Shoma on all the bad things that happened to you. You got mad at him because he becomes a member of the Stomach family. You let that jerk Suga manipulate you. Why should anyone rely on you to lead the team? And I'm being honest, Lakia has a point. Don't get me wrong. Hanto's a good guy, but he's not been the best friend in the last arc. Oh, and to add to insult, he wasn't even able to tell Shoma apart from bitter Shoma, even though their gobs are different colors. So, racism? But, Sachika tells him, hey, y'all need to get along. Humans and Granudes need to get along. And it's like, I don't have a problem with Granudes. I just have a problem with Locket. And I don't have a problem with humans. I just have a problem with Hanto. Good point. Because, let's be honest, both Hanto and Lakia like Shoma, the half-breed. They both like Sachika. They both like Dente. They just don't like each other. Which is a fair point. So, Hanto and Lakia go to like a temple where the Granude might be hiding, and the Granude tries to attack a pregnant woman. Jeez, as if this guy wasn't shameless enough. So the two of them try to transform together. Because they're stuck together, Hanto comedically is trapped inside the giant glass cup where like all that flan fills up, and he's like, and like the white chocolate goat cheese. It's like I don't understand what you're saying. Speak English. I mean Japanese. Oh, you want me to go inside? Okay, why didn't you say so? So then, like, he fires the gun from underneath, and I'm thinking, you know what this would be a good opportunity to do? What if there was like a combination chocolate flan thing where like you get like a chocolate Vlam and a pudding Valen? Like, that would have been interesting. Like, because they transform together, the two snacks that their goat Chizos produced have to like be kind of like mixed together. So like I want to see how that play. Like, I would have loved to see that play out. Unfortunately, it didn't. So they just turned into their base forms. Which, by the way, I have to like wonder. Like, wasn't there like a whole thing about the Valen gun just like not working properly? So like, what's going on now? Of course, the two of them have to work together, and like we got a little bit of that Helsing scene. It's like, oh, what do you want me to do? Just hold your arm still. But but thankfully the dude has like these scythe attacks on his arms, which they thankfully cleverly use it to slice open the mucus that held their arms together. But they accidentally ended up such that Vlam's arm gets trapped again to Valen's leg. So it's like, we don't have time to fool around. So Vlam just charges at the guy using, like, while dragging Valen right behind him. This is hilarious, but also very based. And like he just like swings his arm around so that Valen could just like fire shots at the projectile mucus, and thankfully does break them both free just in time for them to both use their finishers. But when the fire and smoke clears, turns out there's nothing left but an empty husk. In other words, this Granude molted. Is that a Kabuto reference? But then the two of them part ways because they still are beefing with each other. But before they do, Lakia realizes something. He sees the scar on the tree created by one of those scythe attacks and recognizes it as one of the injuries on Comer's back. Could this Granude be responsible for Comer's murder? Looks like we got ourselves a clue. Meanwhile, Shoma encounters the butler agent, and Shoma's having a really hard time fighting this guy. But the agent then tells him, "I'm not here to fight you." And then right behind him, who shows up but Lisel Jaludek, and she says, "Listen, I'm just here to talk. Won't you come with me?" And that's where the episode ends. So what is it that Lisel wants to say to Shoma? I wonder. Well, we're going to find out in the next episode. But basically, it is in the preview for the next episode, we might end up seeing an encounter between Yelv and Dente. What will this mean for our heroes? Who knows? But can't wait to see what happens next, because one, we have a lead on Comer's killer. Two, we're getting really close to developing the relationship between Lakia and Hanto. Three, Shoma is gonna have to learn some kind of information from Lisel. And four, things could be happening involving Dente and Yelv. Could it be possible that the two of them will be somehow involved in Shoma's final form? Just thinking about it for a moment. If Dente dies, for example, then that would be an emotional, like an emotional trauma for Shoma to be required to acquire his final form. Or if Yelv and Dente collaborate, that could be some reasoning behind why Shoma's final form has, well, two modes. Because as we've seen in some scans, he has like a purple form and an orange form. One's called like Master, the other's Overlord. And what if the reason why he has two forms is because it involves Yelv and Dente for some reason collaborating in order to make the Gochizo fort, where one of them was contributed by Dente and the other form was contributed by Yelv. Heck, given the fact that Yelv's motif has like this whole orange color to it, it would make sense why one of Shoma's final forms is going to be orange. Although, if it ends up being the other way around, that would also be pretty interesting. This is a speculation, of course. Who knows? Maybe Yelv will be the final villain. Maybe Yelv will be the next stomach member to be killed off. Who knows? I'm actually excited to find out what happens next. And honestly, I would give this episode a 9. I would give it a 10 if we just had a little bit more time with Hanto and Lakia being trapped together. Because, like, this is an opportunity for a semi-bottled episode where the two of them have to learn to see eye to eye. And based on how quickly they got out of that mucus, it just feels like they didn't have enough time to really get to, like, collaborate. Given the fact that they both witness the clue to Comer's potential murder, it is possible they'll have to continue investigating together, and maybe they'll have that heart-to-heart that they needed. I just wish that they, just had a little more time being trapped together, because that would kind of like force them more instead of just hoping that the circumstance keeps them together. But, that is my thoughts on the episode. There aren't any comments for tonight, but that's totally okay, because, if you enjoyed, please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Ding the bell icon to stay notified for our latest videos. We do Ultraman Classic on Mondays, Kamen Rider Gavv on Wednesdays, #1 Sentai Go Juju on Thursdays, and Classic Kamen Rider on Sundays. And this Sunday, we are discussing the very first movie, Kamen Rider vs. Shock, featuring the return of Takashi Hongo as the main writer. where in subsequent episodes he will remain as the main character of the show. Yay! But let's see how this transition plays out. I mean, obviously the movers probably going to be like mostly filler, but we'll see. Let us sit back, savor, enjoy, eat plenty of snacks, whether it's smoked sausage, beef jerky, chewing gum, or caramel. Stay safe, stay hydrated, update emergency kits, hug your loved ones, and of course, if check out our sister channel, The Buttery Show, where we do various movie reviews and shorts on Gundam GQX, and follow my personal content, which is on Instagram at Boken_Kabuto and on Twitch at twitch.tv/BokenKabuto. With all that said, have a wonderful weekend to all my loving fans. I can't believe that I've been on this channel for over 5 years now. It's amazing, like being able to contribute to this channel, getting to know all of you lovely fans, whether it's in person at conventions or parasocially through the comments. I see all your comments. I love you guys. And I hope to see you again real soon. If you want to say hi to me in person, I will be at Pasadena Convention Center on May 24th for Pasadena Comic-Con. And I will also be at the Burbank Marriott for Robo Toy Fest on June 8th. I hope to see you all real soon. Have a good one. Bye.